When people think of early 2000s pop punk, a few names immediately come to mind. Blink-182, Green Day, and standing right alongside them is Sum 41. They weren't just another skate punk band. Sum 41 mixed pop punk hooks with metal riffs, political anger, and an unpredictable sense of humor. Over more than 2 decades, they went from suburban Canadian kids to global rock stars, nearly collapsed under the weight of addiction and burnout, and eventually re-emerged stronger before choosing to end the band on their own terms. This is the complete story of Sum 41, told album by album. Sum 41 formed in Ajax, Ontario in 1996. Vocalist and guitarist Derek Whibley, drummer Steve Jocks, bassist Jason McCaslin, and guitarist Dave Bakash originally played together under the name Casper. The band officially changed their name to Sum 41 in 1999, inspired by forming 41 days into the summer. They gained attention by uploading homemade videos online that mixed punk covers with metal riffs and absurd comedy. These videos went viral before going viral was even a concept. That DIY humor combined with serious musicianship landed them a deal with Island Records. Into their debut in 2001, Sum 41 exploded onto the global stage with All Killer No Filler. This album perfectly captured the chaotic energy of the early 2000s. Songs like Fat Lip, In Too Deep, and Motivation blended pop-punk melodies with hip-hop cadences and metal-style guitar work. Fat Lip, in particular, became a cultural moment, pushing the band onto MTV and mainstream radio almost overnight. The album lived up to its title. There were no slow burns or experiments here, just non-stop hooks and attitude. Sum 41 quickly graduated from opening slots to headlining tours, becoming one of the biggest punk bands in the world. But success came fast and the pressure followed just as quickly. Rather than repeat the same formula, Sum 41 made a darker and heavier record. Does This Look Infected in 2002 leaned hard into punk aggression and metal influences. Tracks like the Hell Song, Still Waiting, and Over My Head showed a band willing to trade some radio polish for raw intensity. The lyrics were angrier, the guitars were heavier, and the humor was more sarcastic than goofy. This album proved Sum 41 wasn't just a novelty pop-punk act. They could actually play, and they weren't afraid to push their audience. For many longtime fans, this record marked the moment Sum 41 earned real credibility. Next up is Chuck in 2004. It was the turning point in Sum 41's career. While filming a documentary in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the band was caught in a real-life war zone. They were evacuated by a UN peacekeeper named Chuck Pelletier, who later became the album's namesake. The experience changed them, musically and lyrically. Chuck is darker, heavier, and more political than anything they'd done before. Songs like We're All to Blame, No Reason, and Pieces reflected disillusionment, anger, and emotional exhaustion. This album divided fans at the time, but it has aged incredibly well, and it showed Sum 41 evolving beyond pop-punk into something closer to alternative metal and political punk. After Chuck, guitarist Dave Bakash left the band, citing creative differences. That departure reshaped Sum 41's sounds. Underclass Hero marked a return to melody and simplicity. In 2007, they were heavily inspired by classic punk and Green Day's American Idiot. Derek Whibley took full creative control, writing and producing the album himself. Songs like Underclass Hero, Walking Disaster, and With Me focused on youth alienation, broken homes, and self-reflection. While it lacked the metal edge of Chuck, it connected emotionally with fans who had grown up alongside the band. Behind the scenes, however, things were unraveling. Following the Underclass Hero tour cycle, Sum 41 went on hiatus. Derek Whibley struggled heavily with alcoholism, eventually being hospitalized with organ failure in 2014. At one point, doctors told him he might not survive. The band's future was uncertain, and many assumed Sum 41 was effectively over. But that was not the end. Before Whibley's health crisis became public, Sum 41 released Screaming Bloody Murder. In 2011, the album was so raw, chaotic, and emotionally unstable, in a way that feels painfully honest. Songs like Scumfuck, Blood in My Eyes, and Crash deal with addiction, isolation, and inner turmoil. Commercially, the album underperformed. Internally, tensions were high. Shortly after its release, drummer Steve Jocks left the band, and it felt like Sum 41 was fading out. Against all odds, in 2016, Sum 41 returned with 13 Voices. After surviving addiction and rebuilding his life, Derek Whibley returned with David Bakash, restoring the band's classic dual guitar lineup. The result was 13 Voices, an album about survival, redemption, and defiance. Tracks like Fake My Own Death, Goddamn I'm Dead Again, and War directly address Whibley's near-death experience and his determination to keep going. This album re-energized the band and their fan base. Sum 41 wasn't just back. They sounded focused and hungry. Next up is Order in Decline in 2019. They doubled down on aggression and political frustration. Short, punchy, and heavy. This album rejected nostalgia entirely. Songs like Out for Blood, A Death in the Family, and 45 attack corruption, apathy, and modern chaos. It was one of the band's strongest late-career releases, and proved that Sum 41 still had something urgent to say. Sum 41's final studio album was Deliberate Farewell. Heaven x Hell in 2024 is a double album split into two halves. Heaven celebrates their pop-punk roots with fast, melodic tracks. Hell embraces their metal-heavy sound they developed later in their career. Rather than ending quietly, Sum 41 chose to showcase every side of who they were. In 2023, Sum 41 announced they would disband after one final world tour and album cycle. They didn't burn out. They didn't fade away. They chose to leave. Sum 41's legacy is one of evolution and survival. They grew up in public, fell apart in public, and rebuilt themselves in public. Few bands managed to span genres, generations, and personal catastrophes while still earning respect on the way out. From All Killer No Filler to Heaven x Hell, Sum 41's story is messy, loud, painful, and ultimately triumphant. Sum 41 didn't just soundtrack a generation. They survived it, and by choosing their own ending, they ensured their story would be remembered not as a cautionary tale, but as a complete one. Anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Catch you guys in the next one.